Turnkey with Morgan Francis, sponsored by Integrity Roofing.
Welcome into Turnkey on Queen City News Plus, your go-to show for everything real estate in the Carolinas. We talk about the latest market trends, do's and don'ts of the industry, and provide expert advice on navigating this dynamic landscape that we call home. I'm your host, Morgan Francis, and last week on the show, we told you about the HGTV dream home on Lake Wylie that some lucky winner is going to get the keys to sometime very soon. And we promised you our next guest, the builder of this beautiful home, Michael Knotts. Michael, thank you so much for coming on Turnkey.
Thanks for having me.
I know that it was a tough sell for you.
Oh, yeah. Come talk about this amazing home we built.
Yeah. What is it like and you're a local builder, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Born and raised here in Charlotte.
And you that was a short commute, right?
We did not commute by boat, but yeah, I grew up on Lake Wylie, right near where we built that dream home. So.
What is it like building something that, and I know you build homes for people all the time, but there are a lot of eyes on this home.
Yeah. So what was it like building the dream home?
Yeah.
It was exciting. Yeah, it's a neat opportunity to build a home regardless of who the customer is. You're building a place for them to live, to start over, a new chapter, and so much more for the dream home. Yeah, we're going to have a lot of eyes on it. So we knew we could do it, but then to prove it, hey, we can build this great home that's going to look amazing on TV and do it for a different kind of client was a challenge in our minds, but a challenge that we could rise to. And it was a really surprisingly great experience. It was great working with HGTV and going through the process along with them. And it's neat seeing behind the scenes. I've seen, we've seen HGTV shows. You kind of see what's going on, but to be behind the scenes and to see how they do all the stuff was great.
Kind of a peek behind the curtain, so to speak. And, I don't know how many people enter for this sweepstakes every year. I know you probably don't know that answer either, but it's been the top story on our website for a while now. So there is interest in this home. I'd love to hear how you got linked up with HGTV. Did you reach out to them? Did they reach out to you and say, hey, we want to build a home on Lake Wylie? How does that process come to be?
I'm not sure how their full process is, but how it came to us.
On your end, yes.
On my end, our kids go to school right near Lake Wylie, and one of the moms of one of my son's good friends, I got 4 kids, she's a realtor. I'd spoken with her at school because as a builder, I love realtors. Like, they're our friends. They bring us deals. And so my wife works at the school. My wife came home and said, hey, and her name's Nelvia Bullock, the realtor. She said, you've got to call Nelvia. I was like, okay, I'll give her a call. She said, no, you have to call her like right now. There's an opportunity.
Okay.
And so the opportunity came through Nelvia Bullock. And I called her and she said, hey, I can't tell you a whole lot, but we have an opportunity. Do you have this? And so she laid out some parameters of what HGTV would be looking for. Want to do it on a lake. They want to do it near Charlotte. And as she started to list these, parameters of what HGTV wanted, in my brain I was going, wait, I think I have a great lot and a great house plan that might fit what they're looking for. So that's how it came to us, and started talking with Nelvia, and from there it snowballed into them choosing the lot, and
that's awesome, because we talked to Brian Patrick Flynn, who is the interior designer of the home, and obviously, interior design is very different than planning out a lot and, the footprint of a home that's going to work out for that particular lot. We're looking at the lot right now. I mean, it's beautiful. It looks like it's on a peninsula.
It's what it feels like, for sure. And I will say it's the prettiest lot we've had on Lake Wylie, or really ever. And I'm biased. I grew up on the lake. I live on the lake now, and I love it. And there's something about being on water that's calming and peaceful. So, yes, this lot, when we were standing on it before anything happened, before we even heard of HGTV, we went, man, this is going to be an amazing place. And I really love, as a builder, and we're land developers too, so I like land. I think it's neat to take the unique aspects of a lot or a piece of land and go, hey, what's the best aspect? Are there trees? What does this land provide? And so for this, you have a 180-degree view of the water. And different lots on the lake will feel different. If you're back in a cove, like I am, kind of peaceful and serene and quiet. Out where we are on the main channel on this point, it was neat. As we were building this house and you just stood there, you could see boats going by and people swimming and wakeboarders and kayakers and fishermen. And it was just exciting. I mean, you can even see
It's
Buster
the
Boy Bridge.
lifestyle.
It's
It's
alive.
lifestyle. Yeah.
It's like a living thing to look at, and it was really neat. So
So does this home get sunrise, sunset, or both? Or
that's a great question, and
that's what everyone on the water or everyone who's looking on the water wants to
they
know.
want. Yeah, does this have sunset or sunrise? It has a beautiful sunset, a huge view of the sunset, which most people want when they're looking. So that has that.
That's incredible. So you got linked up with HGTV. Would love to hear what it's like being on set, so to speak, because that's kind of what you're doing. You went from a builder who's, dealing with contractors to you're doing that and more.
Right. Being on sets, a lot like building a house. If you have a good team, a good set of contractors,
right,
then it makes it fun and it makes it somewhat easy. And being on set with HGTV was both of those. It was surprisingly fun and easy. It wasn't awkward. Like if you had to tell me I'm going to be on a TV show or got to be filmed, initially I'd be like, man, I don't want to. I'm not an actor.
But you don't strike me as an introvert either.
I'm not an introvert. No, no. So I do. I love people and I love talking. And so it was really casual. The Regan and Brian who are on the show, they're just fun people, and so it was great to talk with them and experience the whole process together. It didn't feel staged. It didn't feel awkward. We just it was just very real, and the super kind, everybody behind the scenes, and they're professionals. I mean, this is what they do. They film these types of projects. So to work with other professionals who are really good at what they do, it was great.
Are you ready to show people the inside of the house?
I love. They've probably already seen it, but yeah,
they probably have. Based off of how many people have at least clicked on the story on our website. And
I don't know numbers. I've heard from them about 100 million entries per year.
Wow.
For winning the dream home. Now that's not individual people, but you can enter a couple times a day for months. So there are a lot of people that want to win it and look at it.
100 million entries, and I saw that the house is priced at roughly $2.4 million.
That's a sweet lottery.
and whoever wins also gets $100,000 cash, so that's not too shabby either.
Right.
Tell me about the home itself before we get into some of the details that you love about it, which I'm sure are every single one of them. Tell me about the specs of the home.
Sure. So it's in general real estate terms. Is it master down or it's a master down?
Mm-hmm.
Technically, the way Mecklenburg County looks at it's a 3-bedroom house.
Okay.
It could be a 4-bedroom house pretty easily with the bonus room upstairs.
Yep. There we go. Okay.
And it's a crawl space, so there's no basement. And obviously the lot that it's on, there's some topo, but other than that, it's 3,220 square feet.
Okay,
somewhere real close to that. So it's a normal size home for a family. It works really well either for somebody who's retiring and doesn't have any kids. You got the master down, and then you've got 2 bedrooms or 3 upstairs, or it works great. Or it would work great for people that have kids or that want guests to come over. So lots of neat space for entertaining. And that's really what kind of was different on this home. They spent a lot of time and attention on how can we orient this to the view, and then how can we have spaces in and around the home where people can have a dinner party here and then have their kids playing outside here and have another group that have a conversation there. So
I was going to ask you what the difference is between building the dream home, right, versus like your typical build in and around Charlotte, which on that point, how far do you go out from Charlotte? Like, where are all of your builds?
Good question. We try to stay within about an hour's drive from our office, which is in and around the Fort Mill, Still Creek area.
Okay.
And, Charlotte's unique in its location because by being an hour away from Fort Mill, let's say, we can go up to Lake Norman, the lower parts of Lake Norman. We can go out into Gaston County, which was where we build now. We're building down in York County because there's so many counties around where we're at. We'll go down. We're looking at lots in Cabarrus, and which is all the way to the east, on the western part of Cabarrus County, and then down in Union. So we're in this niche where we're in all the kind of surrounding counties and in Mecklenburg. We build where we have land that we can find and develop, or when people come to us say, "Hey, I have a lot." Work with a customer now in TKK or 2 customers. Hey, can you build them a lot? Sure.
Which do you like more? I would think someone who already has a lot so that you don't have to front that cost as the builder? But I'm curious.
I like them all the same. It is easier for us when we find land, and let's say we find 10 lots.
Mm-hmm.
We spend time knowing what's going to go on in those 10 lots, how it works, the city, the sewer, the water, the process.
Mm-hmm.
So we can do the same thing for those 10 lots. When it's one lot somewhere else, even though we work in all those counties, everything's a little bit different. But that challenge is kind of fun. For me, I mean, I built a couple hundred homes. I've been in houses since I came out of college.
Just a couple hundred?
Just a couple hundred. We're at 400.
Wow.
But, so building homes is exciting. What we tell our customers who bring us lots is, hey, guiding you through the process is our problem. Because the process for building a house
it's emotional too.
It's emotional.
Mm-hmm.
It's complicated. It has pitfalls. And so we really appreciate when people give us their trust, and we want to guide them like a guide through the process. The home is a byproduct of that for sure. But everybody's different. So every product that they want is different. So we care about, what do you want as a customer?
Mm-hmm.
What's important to you? And then can we get you what you want for the price that you want?
Right.
And our goal is to get you a win-win where you get what you want or as much as you can get for the price that you can get.
How would you recommend someone in Charlotte go about picking a builder? Because there are so many available, or even someone who's going to do like a renovation for them. How do you find someone who you know is going to do the job right? Right.
Call us.
I mean, okay, that that was kind of a easy layup for you. But
No,
seriously, there are so many people who just do a quick job and then they disappear, and you've got problems with your house. How do you research that?
That's a good question, and I would direct them first. The Home Builders Association of Greater Charlotte is a great place to start. Builders that do this for their long haul, that's their livelihood, they're typically part of the Home Builders Association of Greater Charlotte. And so I would tell a customer to look online, especially if you're looking for a remodeler or looking for a builder that you could trust. Start there and they have a list of builders that are their affiliates or members.
Okay.
And that's a great place to start. Not every builder, and I was somewhat joking, I mean, I do want people to call us, but not every builder is great at what is the perfect builder for everybody. Mm-hmm. So I tell people, like, there are builders out there, the production national builders that build homes one after another. Mm-hmm. And there's a great value in that you can get a lot for a good cost.
Right.
And it's predictable. You can know what you're going to get. And there are the high-end custom builders that build super high cost, super high quality. And those are two different products. And we live kind of in the middle. We can compete with some of the production builders, and we can compete with some of the custom builders where he specializes in the middle. So knowing the customer, knowing what they want would help maybe a different home builder steer them to, hey, you should look with these home builders or this remodeler. Asking around and getting referrals is really, really important.
Right. Asking your neighbors, obviously, and they're going to tell you when they had someone who didn't do a good job. They're also going to tell you when someone did a great job.
And we do the same thing. Hey, listen, we might not be the best builder for you. Call this guy or call this person.
Well, and it sounds like your description of Knott's Builders, your company, is kind of what HGTV is probably looking for, right? Is a quality build on Lake Norman. But correct me if I'm wrong.
I like Wiley.
Did I say Lake Norman?
Yep.
Lake Wiley.
Great.
Which there are 3 lakes in Charlotte. Some people don't know about Mountain Island Lake too.
That's right.
Thank you for the correction. But you're building a quality home, but I'm assuming that they had probably a pretty strict timeline with this.
They did. And we heard from a consultant that analyzes a bunch of builders on a national conference. He was like, listen, the best builders that I've ever interviewed and looked for are the best schedulers that are consistent and systematic with how they build the home. That doesn't mean that they just push through everything and really try to crunch the days down into a couple months. And so building a house consistently on a timeline is what we do always. Mm-hmm. When we're working with customers, that's one of the first or the second things I want to know.
Everyone wants to be in by a certain holiday.
How much does it cost? How long does it take? Those are the two questions, right? And so the cost question is easy to answer, but the easier answer is the timeline. We believe something should happen every day in the house. So they gave us a timeline, and we knew we could do it because we track our days under construction for all our houses. Mm-hmm. We know what we build for. And so the timeline, you have to watch it and pay attention to it. And be, like I like to call, firmly flexible. Hey, it's supposed to happen today, but okay, it's raining. But we consistently built. We tracked our days from beginning to end, and we kept them informed the whole way. So it worked out okay.
So were there any design elements with this home that were new or something you hadn't done before that was fun or challenging?
Yes, new to me for sure, and they were challenging. But when people do something different, again, we built lots of homes. That's kind of fun stuff.
What were some of the fun stuff?
So skylights, we did a lot.
I saw that in one of the rooms, and we'll see it. I believe it was the room that's kind of on the corner of the house that you've got this.
There are 6 skylights.
Okay,
great product. I have never installed a skylight. I've had them in homes, but installing them, learning about the product, learning about the features they have were incredible. So the Velux skylights, where we put in 20 skylights in the home, different kinds, automated, open. It was fascinating.
How many?
20. 20 skylights and 4, I'm going to get the name wrong, tubes that take in light from the roof directly through a tunnel down to the ceiling. So 24/7 light during the day.
Wow.
And that was a unique challenge because there's framing specifications, a lot of
the big thing
measuring.
With skylights is you want to make sure they don't leak down the line, because they can, if they're not done correctly, they can be just such a headache for people.
They can. And we had a fantastic team of installers. But more than that, it was one thing we didn't consider, the depth of
There are a couple of skylights in the bedroom.
Perfect.
So, I was keeping my eye on the shot because I know it's a rotating video. I was trying to see where there were some of the skylights, but sorry, you were saying.
When customers look in their room up at a skylight, the distance between their ceiling that they see and the actual roof that's exposed to the elements is a big factor. Because if that's a big gap, it can look like a tunnel. Like you can't even see the skylight.
Right.
So changing some framing to make sure it looked really good, both on camera and for the customer who's going to live in there, was important.
What was that depth? Do you know? I'm asking you a question.
Sure.
Okay.
No, I do. It was, let's call it 12 to 20 inches.
Okay.
And that just changed the way you had to frame and support the structure and the load and all that. So it was a unique challenge, but it was interesting to dive into it with those guys.
So it sounds like there were some interesting design elements to the home, but I would love to hear, what was your favorite part of the home aside from the skylights?
Sure. Hands down, it's, and I don't know why this is my favorite part, but there's a balcony porch on the second floor that looks, you've got a 180-degree view of the lake, and it's floating, so it's not supported by anything. So it's on the second floor. It's a true balcony, and it's just beautiful. You're out there. You're above the water. You're in nature. In fact,
we're looking at it right now.
So no, that's a circular deck on the other side of the house, which you can't see from this picture, in where those 2 trees are in the background. There's a porch way up high, and there were big birds building a nest up in those trees they were building. So you're just out there. I mean, I grew up on the lake. I love being outside. I love being on the lake. So I think that's my favorite.
Are we going to see it on this shot, do you think?
Yes.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Right on the corner there.
Yes. So you're looking out down the channel, as we call it, way down the lake, and then all the way over as far as you can see. So.
And does that go to a bedroom?
That goes to the flex room or bonus room that's on the back
one
of the
with
house.
all the skylights. Yep.
4 windows.
I know what one you're talking about.
It's great.
That's a cool room. So what was it like working with Brian and the HGTV crew versus your typical client?
Sure. So it was similar and different to working with other decorators. Now, I will say Brian and his team, Sancha, and all the folks that he works with, they were incredible. Like, they're top notch. And
I would hope after all this time, he said has done 11 of the dream homes, so he knows what he's doing at this point, right?
Yes, he knows what he's doing, and we get to trust him completely. You know, when we're working with a client, we default always to what the client wants and try to guide them. When there's a designer that the client already has, that designer is doing the same thing. They're providing insight and opinions, and so it was different because in that instance, we're always talking to our client. Hey, client, what do you want? They'll talk to the designer. Designer comes back. We'll do this, and it's kind of this back. And
you're
and
like,
forth.
here are some of the materials that we typically work with or that we really like. Versus
Brian was, hey, straight to you. Like, what do you want? Okay,
using.
we can do that. Great. And so there was no in between. I mean, when he was speaking for HGTV and the client, and we also got to do. It was different in that he has so many neat ideas from such a wide berth of things that he's done. So some of the elements you go, real like, we're doing this. Are you sure? And then when it comes together, you see it in the house. You're like, oh wow, I would have never guessed that teal would be a great color. And
Right.
how they could take the colors, because we built the blank canvas. He got to bring all the came in after we were done to bring in all the decor and the furniture.
Right.
And so that was actually really neat, trusting him, obviously, and his team through the whole process. Hey, okay, you want this? Great, we'll put it in. And then to see them decorate it, stage it, and fill it with all the things, it was like seeing the complete puzzle. So when we were done with the house, before they came in and did all their magic, we only saw half of the picture. So then to come now and see the pictures online and to see all that, how they made those colors come together with their fabrics and their materials, it was awesome.
That has to be really cool to see, like, okay, we did our part, and then you guys are going to put the cherry on top and really make this thing shine, right? And then to see the two come together to make something that you've poured your heart into, it has to be this overwhelming feeling of accomplishment for you.
It was, and it was being part of a team. So there's a third aspect. Like you have us, the builder, you have the decorator, and then you have the team, the HGTV filming team that came in and did their magic. I mean, there's true magic. I'm sure you know in your business, sound and lights and photography and all the expertise that comes with that. They can make, when we build a home and we get ready to sell it, we have a photographer come in, a very good photographer, they take pictures. And even in doing that, the house looks amazing.
Right.
Multiply that times tenfold with the videography and the lights and the skill.
Even Brian, I mean, he has a background working in television as well. So that was kind of how he started, and then he got into design. So he understands the full picture when he's designing something. So,
and I'll brag on him. His team, multi-talented. The 4 or 5 folks that came down, that part of his team, they could create stuff and paint over stuff. They were making and painting and creating along with all the materials. It was neat to see them in their element.
Yeah. Not to like a play on words here, but it sounds like you really had the dream team for this dream home.
It was a dream. That's good. I like that.
I am curious. So you brought them the lot, right? Dock permit. Did you already have that, or did you have to get that? Was that something that you built beforehand, or was that built on the show?
It was built on the show along with the home. We got that permit with the house permit. And so it was all, and there were like 2 little projects. Now the dock, that was probably my second favorite, or even really that is my favorite part of the
it's like indoor,
build.
outdoor.
Yeah, and I love being on the water. But to do a 2-story dock with, I mean, they did a lot. They went all out.
Non-obstructing view on the top.
Yeah, the glass panels, a see-through railing. They did a herringbone pattern on, if you can tell, on the second floor, and then underneath it's completely dry, so there's a roof in between.
So if it's raining outside, it's like it doesn't matter. You can still enjoy, having company out on the dock on the lake.
Yep.
Same thing with the back patio. I mean, it's half cover, half not. So you get a little bit of everything with this house.
You do. My one regret on the dock, and this was not my choice, but I thought it would have been great to have with kids and growing up on the lake, have a platform on the second story to jump off. They're like, ooh, we don't know if we can do that, but that would have been amazing. So anyway, the dock's incredible. Yeah.
What is it? So the approval, that's Duke Energy, right?
Duke Energy is involved because they own the lake and the portion of land around it. So they are involved in the process.
Would that have been an additional thing to get? I love hearing about dock permits, because that's when you see a property on the water that might be like weirdly affordable for what you're thinking the properties are. Chances are it's not permitted for a dock because the process is very involved and it's difficult, right? So if you this home aside, if you were to do some sort of a platform like that, is that like an additional permit that you need, or is it just the original permit?
Those are great questions. You have to get a separate permit to properly do a dock. It is different from the home building permit. And there are, like you just said, tons of rules, laws, specifications that dictate what you can build, how far into the cove you can build, where you can build a dock, the depth of water, all of those things you have to take into account. So it's not just, hey, go build a deck on the water. Yeah. It's really involved. And we had a great contractor who did it for us and worked with us to guide us through that process. But having a dock on the lake is such a game changer, because not only can you step onto the water from your lot on the lake, but if you have a dock, you can explore the entire lake with your boat. And so it is a true game changer for how you live. You see the stickers, the lake life. But it's true.
It goes from a view to an experience.
Yes.
You can enjoy life on the water versus watching everyone else enjoy it, which, to each their own. If someone doesn't want to dock and they want the view, that's great. It's a beautiful view.
It is. And that's some of my favorite memories of growing up on Lake Wiley. My dad wakes up in the morning before school. We go skiing or tubing before anything was up when it was flat.
How fun.
Or in my teenage years with our neighbors, we go wakeboarding So it's getting on the water is magic. We do it with our kids.
Yeah.
We love it.
That's awesome. It's a beautiful house, Michael, and I appreciate you coming on Turnkey. You have the floor. Any final thoughts or advice for anyone who is watching out there when it comes to just kind of dealing with a builder in a positive way, of course?
Sure. I mean, that's a wide range. I would say when you're looking for a builder, look for somebody you can trust, right? Trust is immense. Talk to other people, get recommendations.
Mm-hmm.
I will say there is a lot, the community of builders and remodelers in Charlotte, in my mind, is unique because they all work together. They work as a team for one another. There's not a lot of infighting, and so there's great camaraderie in finding good trades. And Charlotte has a ton of really good builders, and we're trying to be the best among them. Realtors, trust your realtor that do it for a living consistently. They're super valuable. They're worth their experience and knowledge is immensely helpful, and just the peace of mind of knowing you have somebody on your side. Like when our customers have realtors, we love it because an experienced realtor can tell them and reiterate hopefully what we're saying and give them perspective.
Right.
So trust the professionals. And come give us a call.
Michael, thank you so much. I'm glad you had such a fun experience with HGTV. It's a beautiful home, and someone will be very lucky to have it someday.
I agree. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you so much for everyone else out there watching Turnkey on Queen City News Plus. We'll see you next time.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.